So I've added a cars here. I've added 4 cars here we can use to test out the filter before going to create the details page. So I'm going to try and filter. So I noticed that we made a mistake if I try to filter by price, let's say under 50. Uh, you can see that we have, okay, under 50 is not there. I'm going to try with 52. Um, we can see that 50 to 100K. This one works. But if we try to use custom and I try to do something like this, see it shows no car found. So I noticed that inside we can go into the route, the API. We made a mistake there. I'll go into listing route. Let me close this, and this should be less than equal, not greater and then greater than equal, less than. So it should be in between these numbers, both for the years of manufacture. So I'm going to clear this. Let me reset this, and let me zoom out. Okay. So I'm going to let me just zoom in small. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and click on custom, and I'm going to move, and let's see if, okay, yeah, you see it's working. So I'm going to move, and we can see that the price is 57, and this has changed. So if I set it to 300 to 500K, I have no car found. 500 to no car found. But if I put it 100 to 300K, we should see some cars. Right, I think this car is above 100 to, is above 100. But from 50K to 100, I think why is supposed to reload. Let me see. 50K to 100. Okay, yeah, you can see some cars. So I'm just going to say under 50K. I think the price is not really. Let me go over to the search content, and let me see. Let me remove the price and see why this is not reloading. I'll save that, and so let me just reset this. So let's try petrol and electric. All of them will show. So that's how to implement the filter. So let's go ahead and create the details page. So I'm going to zoom out. Let me zoom in on me to 100%, and let me clear everything here. So I'm going to clear all of this, and inside the web we're going to create a folder. I'm going to say detail, and we're going to create another folder. We're going to call it slug, and inside slug we'll create another folder which will be the car ID, and then we can create the page. Then we can just page, or we can call it detail, car detail. So we're going to have the components. Let's create the components inside here, which we're going to use to create different components. So inside the div, let's close this. We're going to get the car ID and the slug and the car ID from the params. So I'm going to just say params. This is going to be of type param, And param we have this log, which is a string, and the car ID, which is string. So say that then we can get the log from the param and the car ID. So we can get the car name from the slug. It says slug to car name. Remember, we created this to convert the slug to the name back. Then we're going to create the breadcrumb. So I'm going to say constant breadcrumb items is going to equals to an array of objects which will have the label auto ons. Let me give this a space here. And we're going to have the ref for this, which is going to be slash, and then we can duplicate this. We're going to have cars. So this will link us to the search page. I'm going to say search. And then the last one, which is going to just be only the label and the car name. So let's say main. We'll have a container here, which is we're going to first of all set class name, container, so this should be main. And then we're going to have mx auto padding x4, padding t3, padding bottom 8. Then we have a div class name max 7xl, max width. And then we have mx auto. Then the last one we're going to have, the last div is going to be a class with a space y3. Then we can import the nav breadcrumb and pass in the breadcrumb item. And then we are going to work on the car by 2 or the car displayed by 2 here. So the car display title section. Well, we are going to also work on the car itself. And the other the info. So before we go ahead and do that, let's go ahead and create the API for this first. So I'm going to click open my Explorer and let's go into API and let's create a folder inside listening called listening ID, and let's create routes.cx, and the inside you're going to say export constant get async. We can get the params from here. Let's say request first, next request. And then for the param, we're going to do objects, param, params. And then we are going to set the type to param. And then listening ID, which is of type string. So the listening ID is coming from this listening ID here. We're getting the param from there. So yeah, let's use the try or catch. Then constant, let's get the listening ID from the param. So we can also get the database. So let's say await create session. Let's create session, create anonymous client. And we're going to say database. Then we are going to say listening database. Let me import this. Get document based on the get document require the database ID, the car listening, that's the collection ID, and the documents ID, which is the listening ID. Then we are going to return the response, and then we can also return the cache. Let me remove this and say error. I'll change this to 500. And this we can just say internal server error.message. To save that. So let's go to fetch. I'm going to go into fetcher inside our leaf folder, and then we can create this here. Then let's scroll down below this and let me call this. So we say export constant get single listening query function, and then we say passing the listening ID which we're going to pass. Await as you get API listening, passing the listening ID here, and then return response data. So I'm going to save that and let's copy this. We're going to head over to page, and then inside the page, we are going to call, let's do that here. I'm going to get use use query from Tanstack query, and then we are going to get the key, query key. Let me set it like this. Query key is going to be listening from the car ID. Then we're going to say query function. We're going to say get single listening query function and passing the car ID. And let me import this from feature. And then that's it. So I'm going to just say constant listening listed. Say data or listing. We're going to set this as listing type. Now let me get the data from here. Let me also get its pending, and then its error. Let me also import this, and then we are done with that. So we are going to create the car display title section. So I'm going to call this car header, and this car header we're going to pass in the display title, which is of listing the display title. So this should be it's not list, not with s. We have condition. Condition is going to be listing condition. We are going to pass in the file type. This is going to be listing.file type transmission. Listing.transmission. Mil gauge or my gauge. And you say 0, then is pending. This can be is pending. We can also set it to if it's or let me just remove this. Then let's create the car header. So I'm going to open this and let's go into components, and let's say car header.tx. So RAFCE car header. So inside the car header, we are going to get the type for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the type here. Uh, type of car header props, and I'm going to say display title string condition string file type and string transmission string my gauge string, then is pending and boolean, and we can use the car header props here, and we can get everything. And then button there. So let's say last name MB3. Let me put comma here, and there we're going to have a div, and this div is going to have a class name, but not a div, h1. This will display the title. It's going to have a class name of text 32 pixel, a capitalize and font bold. Then we'll say if is pending, we can just show skeleton here, skeleton loader. H8 with 1/2. Then else we can just say a display title. Then if I'm not going to give this a paragraph, you can just give this let me give it border, margin bottom 2. Then we are going to display the condition, fuel type, and then transmission. So we're going to copy that from the car card. They are similar. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down inside this div. So let me wrap this in a div, and let me remove this MB here. And then inside here, we're going to say is pending. So yeah, we're going to display a div. Let me close this. I'm going to say class name flex wrap item center gap 2 and margin bottom 3. So yeah, we're just going to display skeleton last name. We're going to h4 width 14. You can just display and duplicate that into 3. Yeah, we're going to display the badge. So flex wrap, the same thing, item center, and then gap 2 MB3. So we can go into the card components, card components, and what we want to do here is to get the badge. So we can just get all of this badge. I'm going to collapse them, and let's copy them. Go over to page, then car card and car header, and just paste it here. And let's import this. Let's import the badge from UI badge. Let's import the fuel icon from Lucy Reacts, the gauge icon, the tag, and also the cog icon. For the label, we can also do the same thing we did inside the car components, or just copy this, go over to my car header, and then paste it here. And let me just import this. Let's move this React to the top. Yeah. All right, so let me import this. So I'm going to let's let's reload this. No, let me click. Let's click on one of the cars. So I'm going to click on this one. So I think it's complaining about let's set this to use clients because of the we're using the use query here. Let's set this to use clients and to see whether it fixes the error. So I'm going to reload this. I think it's loading this. And we can see the car. So we can also change the size for mobile view. Instead of 1/2, I can increase this to 2. Let's increase this to 4. Yeah, let me increase it. So for the size, I can set this to text 28 pixel medium. This is okay. So we can also see the badge here. For the badge, I think this, and then I think we can just set this to, let's see, 1 pixel, and let's see. So let's just leave it to 3 pixel. We can just set, I think we can set this to item justify center to center it. Let me see, item center. Okay. Let's leave it like this. So let's go back to pages, to page, and let's implement the car carousel. So for the car carousel, I'm going to create a div that has the car carousel details, and then we are going to have the shop info. Yeah, so let's say car carousel. So at the top of the car carousel, we're going to have a div, class name, grid, grid column 1. And for MD, we're going to have grid columns 1, FR underscore. We're going to give it 340 pixel for the right side. And here we're going to have a div, and we can duplicate this. So for this div, we're going to have padding top 1, and then we can move this comment inside the div. Then let's create the components to say carousel. In this, we're going to pass the image URLs, which is listing image URLs, and expanding is equals to expanding. Save that. So let's go ahead and create this component. So I'm going to create a component here. .cxx RASCE. So for the car carousel, we are going to get a type here. So let me get a type here. As an image URL, this is going to be empty arrow first, and then it's pending. And set a type here, image URL, and then it's pending boolean for the type. So we're going to be using Shanty UI car carousel. So what we're going to do first, we're going to set in the API from set API. This is going to be a state, React.useState, and we're going to set it to empty, and we're going to set a type to car, I say car, sorry, carousel API from Shanty UI. Then we are going to store the current the current image. I'm going to say set current. We are going to keep track of the current. So this will be the index we are going to keep track of. So I'm going to say React.useState. This is going to be number. So default is going to be 0. We're going to also do the count. Set count. And this is going to be equal to 0. Then we can also have active thumbnail. .useState. You can call this active. So we want to know the active thumbnail index. And we can say set active thumbnail index. Then we're going to set the state to 0. So set it to 0. And then we can set use effects from React. And then we're going to say we're going to check if API, if not API, sorry, just return this. But if API, we can set count and set count to API dot scroll. Sorry, selected snap, scroll snap, and then we're going to say +1. Then I think we can duplicate this. Okay, this should be current. Sorry, the set count should not be like this. The set count is going to be API dot scroll snap list dot length. Yeah. So this is what we're going to sort first. Then we're going to do API dot on select. So we're going to track the ones that is selected, or I think the one that is, yeah. So I'm going to open this and say set current. And we're going to say API scroll snap +1, which is the current. But now we need to use this for the thumbnail, to set the thumbnail to index to active. So I'm going to set. So now I want to get it. We're going to say constant selected index is equals to API dot selected scroll snap. We're going to return selected index if less than let's see. No, set active index. Okay, so below here we are going to set constant visible and thumbnail. So for the thumbnail, we're going to first of all, let's give this image slice 0 and 5. So we're going to use this here. We're going to say selected index if it's less than visible and thumbnail dot length -1. Then we are going to say selected index, else visible thumbnail.length -1. So the reason we are making this check is because we're going to only show only 5 images. Then if we have extra, the remaining one, then we are going to display that on top of it. So this is just to, and once you click on the thumbnail, it's going to it's going to move the main carousel images. So let's also do uh, remaining. So we're going to keep track of the remaining thumbnail. If the user provide like 10 images or 10 image URLs, we're going to display 5, and then we're going to show 5 plus remaining. So I'm going to use this to say thumbnail count is going to be equals to max 0 image URL dot length, and we're going to subtract 5 out of it so to get the remaining. So now let's start with class. Let's work on displaying this. Now I'm going to say h auto, and then we're going to have our div, and this div we're going to have class name relative widthful rounded by 8 pixel. We're going to set the minimum height to 300 MD, minimum height to 450. Then for large, we are going to have minimum height to 605 pixel. Then we want to set it before to show a border. So I'm going to say before block, and then before content is going to be an empty string. Sorry. Then we are going to also have before, making it absolute. And then we're going to say before top 6 pixel. And let's save this. We can also have before again. This is going to have left 0 before widthful before height. We're going to give it height of 15 pixel, and then before rounded 8 pixel 8 pixel 0 0. And let's give it a color for the before. So background is going to be 00B53, I think F. Yeah. Then we're going to give it a z index of 0. And then that is it. So if we look at it, I think car cursor is not defined. So let me import this. So let's reload. Car cursor is not defined. Okay, that's shown. We can see the border which we used the before to create. We can see there. Right. So let's continue to work on this. So I'm going to, let me close this here, space. Then inside the div, we're going to have is pending. Skeleton. And skeleton is going to have a rounded bottom um bottom no half height of 300 pixel. Let me, and then we're going to have the medium, basically the same thing we have here. Let's just set it for the skeleton. So once we are done with that, we can let's come down here and let's set the carousel, change this to carousel from UI carousel. Let me uh, put it here. Then we can just have the set API to set API. So set API is what we set as the state. Then we have the carousel content, and this will have the class name. We are going to set this to padding 0 BG transparent. No, not BG transparent, BD primary 10. And then we can then look through the image URLs dot map image URL and the index. And then we can call the current, the carousel item. Then inside there we can have the class name, which is going to be padding 0, height full, and then we can set the key to index. Then inside the item we can have a div, and let's say if we have a class name relative rounded large, and then the same height. We just copy this. This one I'm going to just remove the minimum here. Let me just copy this height and let me paste it here. And then inside this div, we're going to call the image from, we're going to go for next image. We're going to source, it's going to be the image URL. We have the class name, width full, height full, rounded, and top left large. I think we are going to also have, let me see, rounded, top right large, and object cover. Let's give this a width of 600, or let's say 800, height of 620, or I think we can see this now. Let's give it a border or a box so we can see the car displaying here on mobile view. And I think here is nothing. The rounded is not displaying here. So we can add buttons. So I'm going to add brush shadow here. I'm going to say brush shadow 07 pixel, 14.8 pixel, 0.2 pixel, and this color. And then let's come down where we have the content, and we can create a div here. Let's give it a class name. Let's give it a class name. We can say absolute bottom and 20 pixel, left 30 pixel, flex and justify center. Okay, yeah, item center. We give it a background color of 006. The rounded 4 pixel, text color. I can say F2, F2. Yeah, text 14 pixel, padding 4 pixel, 11 pixel, and gap 1. Then we can show our icon here, camera icon, which will have a class of width 4 and height of 4. And then we can add a div, and this will just show us the current, that is the current one the user is viewing, and then the count. And we should see it here, it's showing 0 and 0, 0. We're going to reload this. Then let's show the previous and then the next. So for this, after this div, we are going to, let's display the previous. I'm going to import previous, and we can give it the class of carousel navigation, left 2, on media screen left 8, background transparent, border 0, text white, and then padding 0. We can also duplicate this for the next. Instead of previous, I'm going to say next. And then instead of left, I'm going to say right. And this should be right. And save that. And let's see. So I think we can add, and then we can give this a custom class. We can say big carousel counter. So I want to give this a class, the carousel, a class name of b carousel slider, and this we set this inside the class global.class or cs global.css, and we can see we have the b carousel slider and then the carousel navigation, which we set here the custom style. And we can see the navigation, we have carousel navigation. Then I'm going to go into my UI folder, inside component, and I'm going to change the component, the icon for the previous and next. So I'm going to go into carousel, and let me scroll down to where we have the navigation, the item and previous. So instead of arrow left, I'm going to use chevron left, and then for the right, I'm going to use chevron right. And let me save that. So the icon should change. Yeah, so we can see that the icon has changed, and this we can the numbers we display, the counters we display. So that means this is not actually working. The count set count. So I think the reason is because we didn't put API here. And then let's reload this, and we can see it's 1/7. And we can see the 1/7 being displayed. You can navigate to different images, and the number is going to show. So the border is not showing at the top. This is because if I scroll back, the before top should be -6, not 6px, not 6 pixel. Should be -6 pixel. So let's go down and implement the thumbnails. So for the thumbnails, I'm going to display, let's say, a div first, and we are going to render the skeleton first to display when it is loading. So I'm going to say class name. We can call this thumbnail or big thumbnail, but let's just put relative first. Width full, flex, and we say overflow hidden. Then we can set it is pending, and let me just close this and put a div here, a fragment here, just to stop the error. And then inside here we can have a div that wraps the skeleton. So I'm going to put a div, and inside this div I'm going to have a class name, widthful, flex, gap to, item center, justify between, and then medium we're going to just have justify start. So let me break this down. Then we're going to, let's go inside the div, and we're going to have an array the from, and we're going to give it a length 5, so that we can map through the skeleton. And I'm going to just return skeleton. Let's give it a key of index. And then we can give it a class of width. We're going to do some, let's calculate 50% minus 4 pixel. Then on smaller screen, we're going to have a width, calculate, let me break this. We're going to have 33% minus 4 pixel. Then on medium screen, we are going to have with 35%. Then height, let's give it a height photo, and then we can say my margin one mx0. Then we can have a div here. So this div is going to be a class name of a minus ml1. On md, we're going to have minus ml5, then minus ml1. While on md, as medium, we're going to have ml5. Then let's set flex item center by justify between, and on medium, we're going to have justify start. Then what we can do, we can look through the visible thumbnails dot map. I'll say image URL index, and then we can call this. So we are going to use button for this. Then in the button, we are going to have key index, and this will have a class name of we are going to just copy this from the skeleton, and let's paste it here. The width for small screen, medium. Then we have, so for medium here, I'm going to change this to 20. We have height margin 1 mx 0. So for this m1, I'm going to put a medium one, margin 2. Then let's have a margin horizontal one. We can set overflow hidden and give this a background color of F6, F6, F6. Let's save that. Then I'm going to change this because I want to identify the one that is active. So I'm going to, let's change this. Inside this, let me bring this down. Then we're going to do a check active thumbnail index. If it's equals to index, then we're going to say ring to ring primary. I'm going to say else hover opacity 80, and transition opacity. Then we can have our onclicked. So for the onclick, we're going to say API dot scroll to index. Sorry, to index. And then we can set active to the current active. So once we're done with that, we're going to output the image inside the button. So I'm going to output the image. So image URL class width, and the width and height, and alt. So now the next thing, look at it. We can see that it is showing the images here. So now we are at the field. So we have 7 images. So we need to indicate here that the images still have +2. That is the remaining images. So we are going to use this remaining count and display it uh, at the top of the last image, thumbnail image. So let's do that. Uh, I'm going to copy after this button. After this, let's do it inside this button here. So we're going to do check index. If index is equals to 4 and remaining index count is greater than 0, then we can show the overlay. So I'm going to create a div and say class name absolute is set to 0, bg black. Let's give it black, opacity of 30 or 50, and then we have rounded, large, flex, and flex column. Justify center, item center, text white, text small, then font medium. And we're going to have, let's give it line height of 2 pixel. Then inside the div, we just have a p tag. We'll give it a plus sign. Let's give this a space like this. Then we have span with the class name and give it text 4xl, and then we can say remaining thumbnail count. This is equals to 4. And this is greater than 0. Then display this. Okay, I think we need to add relative. Let me add relative. Let's see. And there, I think we need to add relative. So once you click on it, yeah. So we need to also add image. Let's add uh, images here. So we have +2 images. You can see. So that is it for the image gallery. We are going to go ahead and then let's work on the description. So for the description, let's go into page. So let's create a file, the components for the car detail. So I'm going to just click here and I'm going to call it car detail, or you can call it car description. Let's call it car details .txx, and we can do RACE car details. So save that and let's go back to page and let's import this. So I'm going to import it below the track cursor. So I'm going to also pass in the is pending listening. Then we can pass two of them. Also, we can also pass the is error here too, and also here. So let's go into car details and then let's make use of this. So inside the car details, let me import. Okay, inside the car details, we can provide a type here. So I'm going to say listing. Then let's also say listing of type listing type. We have the is pending to boolean is pending. Let me put comma here. So for the div, we can have a class name width full, height auto, and pt2. So let's provide is pending. You say is pending, we're going to display skeleton, and we can say skeleton. This will have a class name of widthful, height 350 pixel, rounded, and top none, MB4, and then we can say else. Then we can display the card component. So for the card component, I'm going to set this to rounded top none, and then rounded bottom 8 pixel, then shadow none. Then inside the card, we're going to have the card contents. So import that, and this can just have a class name of importance p4, then py6. Then we are going to have the description here. So let me just let's do a div here, and this will have a class name of mb margin bottom 4 and h2, which is going to be the title. We are going to call the title description, but let's first give this a class name of a font bold, then text large, margin bottom 2. Save that, and inside here we can just call this description, and below it we are going to display the description here. I'll just give it a div. I'll just say class text small and font light. Then I'll just say listing the description. Then below the div, we are going to have the list. We're going to use UL, and this is going to just have a class name of margin top and bottom 4, flex, item center. We're going to have fonts light, then gap 5. Then inside here we're going to have uh, we're going to display the icon and also the foil type, the mid gauge, the condition, and transmission. So I'm going to just call this. I'm going to use class name flex column. Sorry, flex column. Capitalize item center. Yeah. So inside the items, I'm going to also give this text small, yeah, and also gap 2. So inside the item, we are going to have a span which will have class name border 2 rounded full, and then padding 3. So we can get the icon for the first one, which is the foil type. So I'm going to call foil icon, and let's give it a class name of size 5, and then we can display the detail listing the foil type, and we can just say lowercase to lowercase. So likewise, we can copy this and paste it. Let's do for we still mile gauge. I'll just move the low and just say mpg. Yeah, and let's say gauge. gauge icon. So then we're going to also duplicate and paste here, and I'm going to get the cog icon from Lucy React, and let's change this to transmission. And then we're going to also paste the other one here, which we're going to get for, we're going to say tag icon for the condition. We can get condition here. Then let's say this and then reload this. Let me reload this. And let's see. You can see all of them. So we have automatic and brand new. So we need to uh, check, get the label from the list, from the condition option. So I'm going to just bring it in, both for transmission and then condition. So I'm going to import both of them. So this basically car transmission option find option values equals to listing transmission. Then we can do for condition here, condition label, option values equals to listing condition. Then we can just scroll down where we have condition, we can paste it here. We can also do for transmission. Instead of this, I'll just say transmission. You can transmission, you can create transmission label. So we're getting the transmission label. And if we save that, we can see brand new and automatic for yeah. So that is it. So the next thing we are going to do is we're going to, let's go down. We're going to have list all of the other options here, all of the other features it has, like the we have the body type, the second condition, the others, we're going to brands, model, all of them. So we're going to display them below this if. So I'm going to scroll. Let's see. So let's move this inside this, and let's say separator from UI separator, and here we're going to have a div which will have my4, and this will have the ul, the list. So we're going to give this a class of grid, and then grid column, column 2 and gap 5. Save that. Then we can get the list, the item. So I'm going to give this a class name. Okay, no, we're not giving this a class name. So inside we're going to have h5 and then also a p tag. So for the h5, we're going to heading, we're going to have class name uppercase, text small, extra small, text muted 400, text me foreground, margin button 1 pixel. Let me break this down. Then we can display the paragraph. So I'm going to give this a class name of text small, and then we can get the brand. So to get the label for the brand, so let me name this brand. So to get the label for the brand, we can also do the same thing we did here. To get the label for brand, I can just call the brand label, and I'm going to just say car brand label, car brand option, and this we should change this to brand. We can also do for model here. I'll just call this model label, and let's get the car model option, and let's change this to model. We can also duplicate this and get the other, like the drivetrain and body type. So I'm going to say drivetrain label, and let's get car drivetrain option. And the last one is the body type. So for the body type, we can get car body type option, and let's set this to body type. Then for the second condition, we can also do some mapping here. We can just say second condition. I'm going to say constant second condition. Sorry, second condition is going to be equals to car second condition. We can get the second condition option. I want to filter. You're going to say filter. Sorry, filter. So let's import this. Yeah, to our filter option. I'll say option or yeah, include. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to say listing dot second condition dot include option dot value. We can copy this and use this. So let's go back to where we have the brand. We can say brand label. Let's duplicate these two, and we can say model, and this will be model label. Then we can also duplicate this, and we can say we can have years of manufacture first. Manufacture, and then this we can just say listing dot years of manufacture. Let's also duplicate this, and we can have the exterior color. So for the exterior color, we are going to list the color or the exterior color. If not, we just say NA, or we can leave that empty. We can just copy it for the interior color too. I'll just change this to interior color, and let's change this to interior color. So save that, and here we can call the body type. So I'll just remove all of this and just use the body type label. We can also have let's also have the drivetrain. This will be drivetrain label. We still have the seating capacity here, here. I'll just set this to sitting capacity. And let's do listing the sitting capacity. And let's also paste that we're going to just get the second condition now. So I'm going to say second condition. And for the second condition, we're going to get the second condition, which we specify at the top. Then we can map this get condition, or let's say get item. We're just going to retrieve the item.label. Save this, and then we can just join this. It's comma. So that is it. So here we can also add a separator. So we can add separator here. This will display the key features. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a div. I'm going to place a div. I'll have class name the same. Margin top and bottom 4. Here we're going to define h2 here. And let's say class name, font bold, text large, and margin bottom 3. And let's say features or key features. So we can just have a div here, and let's have UL. So this will have the class name of grid column 2, margin. My medium. We're going to have grid column 3, and for large we can have grid column 4, then gap 4. So save that, and inside here we can look through this. So we can look through the features. So what we can do, we can scroll back to the top, and we're going to just do the same thing we did for the second condition. It's a constant key features is equals to we can say uh, key features. So car underscore key features option dot filter option. Then we're going to say listing dot key features dot include option dot value. So once we do that, we can copy this, and let's scroll back down there, and let's use key features dot map. It's a feature index. Then we have the item, and let's put key. We can put key to index, and class name to flex item center. Save that, and inside the item we are going to let's also set text small, and then gap 2. Then inside here we're going to get check check square icon. Let's give it a class name of width 4, height 4, text primary, opacity of 80, and then we can output the future dot label. So let's check this out. We can see Mercedes, second condition, and the futures. So that's it for the description. So the last thing we are going to do is to display the shop details here, and also the price of the car, and that will be inside this. So let's create the component for shop info. So I'm going to create that here. Say shop info .txx, and let's say RAFCE shop info, and let's call it inside here. I'm going to say shop info and shop info is going to take a display the price listing dot price to take in the shop ID. We can also take in the shop name. I'll just set this to, let's say, listing dot shop name. Let's do like this. We have shop owner user ID, which is going to be the listing dot shop dot user ID. Description, we're going to, I don't think we need description here. I'll just put spending and this. So we can get the price, shop ID name, shop owner user ID, and then spending. So let's go into the shop info, and then we can just set the type here. Say interface props type, and then we're going to get the price, which is think number, the shop ID, string, shop name, string, then we also have the shop owner user ID. Can just set that to string, and let's set the prop type here. Pass it here, and we can get the price. I think the last one is the spending boolean. We have the shop ID, shop name, spending, and shop user ID. Okay, this is say undefined, just say empty string, empty string. So then inside the info, we can start implementing shop info. We are going to also have the class name. You can easily split this and put the price separate, but the price I'm going to add it to this place. So what I'm going to do here is to have the skeleton display here. So I'm going to say with full, and then I'm going to say is pending. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say div class name widthful. We're going to have the skeleton with a class of widthful. Let's give this a height of let's say the height of 88 pixel, rounded large, and adding bottom 4. Let's just duplicate this into 3. Let me do this part. I'll just put let's put fragments here. So I think self close this, and they should stop this. Then for the second one, you can use 136, and the third one, this can just be 200. Then below here we can say card class name. Let's import card class name. This will display the price. We say widthful bg white, rounded large, and we're going to use shadow, custom shadow. Then for the content, which is card content, we can have class name of p4, that is padding 4. Then let's have our h2, which will display the price heading here. I'm going to give this a class name of font semi-bold, text extra small, and text gray 500, uppercase, and then margin button 2. So let's have a div here. You can say padding. We'll have a class here and say text to Excel. And then for the price, we can say format currency, and let's pass in the price and save that. And we should see the price below here. Great. So we're going to display the shop details or shop info. So yeah, we're going to do card again, and this is going to have class widthful bg white the same, and rounded large. I'm going to also add shadow custom too. And for the shadow custom, we just have MC4. Then we can have the card content, which is going to be class name PT4, or padding 4. And here we can have link this way. Let's leave the link. Then we are going to, let's use the link to say how ref, and this will link to the seller shop. Say shop slash shop ID. Then this will have class name of flex, item center, and gap 2. So inside the link, we're going to have avatar. from UI avatar. This will have a class name of width 12, height 12. Save this and then avatar fallback. This will have a class name of BG primary, opacity of 40. And we're going to, inside it, we're going to put in the icon, user icon from Lucid React. This will have a class name of width 8, height 8, and then text white. Save that. Then we're going to also add, let's do inside here, inside the link, we're going to have a div class name flex column space y 3 pixel h5. We'll have a class name of hover underline margin top 0 text base, that's for the font size, and then we're going to say the shop name. Yeah, so for the text for the class, we're going to also have font medium. Here we can also have p. This can also have the description. Okay, we can also pass in the description item center and 0 margin 0 6 6 pixel and 1 pixel and 0 pixel, and this will just have in text 10 pixel and also text with the color of 6C8 EAO, yeah, and we can just render the description here, which we are going to pass. So we can also duplicate this, and we can just say typically respond replies within a few hours. Reply on time, something like this. Then we're going to also have a card again. So this card I'm just going to use to just display a safety. So I'm going to say class name, waitful, BG white, rounded, large. I'll save that. Then I'll just put in the contents here. Let me just get this. For the contents, then I'm going to just have h2, and this will have the same class name and font bold, text large, text center, MB2, and then we can say safety tips. And below this, we're going to have our UL list, and this will just list all of the safety. So I'm just going to list that here. I'll say row list, text small, space Y1, font normal, padding X4, text grade 700, and you can just see different list item, different safety check here. instead here. So that is it. So the next thing we are going to do is to work on the let's see this thing show properly. Let's look at the avatar. So width, height, icon. Uh, so let me look at why this thing work. And text. This is background. Wait for. Okay, yeah. I think we need to also set this to justify center, say flex item, center, justify, center. Yeah. So that is it. So we need to also add margin here. I think I added margin to top. So let me add margin here to the top. 4. Yeah. So that is it. So we are going to go and complete the landing page. So I'm going to come over to web, and where we have page. So we're going to create a new component which we'll call a car listing. So this will display the listing. So I'm going to let's create it inside here. I'm going to say component. I'm going to say car listing session .txx, and we can say RAFCE car listing uh, car listing, and we can just import this inside the page, that is the web page, that's the landing page. So I'm going to import this, and this section we are going to display the categories, or I say category, the brands, and then we can filter by each of this brand. So I'm going to click on car listing section, and there we can get the, let's make this use clients first, and there we can say constant and use query, contaster query, and we can set the query key, query key, um, key, let's say key. Okay, this thing import, we need to import this. So query key, we are going to set this to array, and we can give this key group by brand, and then we can have a state. This state we set which one is active. So I'm going to set active. Yeah, and say set active. It's going to be equals to React.useState. And then we're going to set this to brand. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set brand is going to be equals to, we are going to destructure car brand underscore brand options. Or we are going to add value all, and then label all brand, and let's put comma here. Then below this, we're going to get the query function, use get all listing query function from fetcher, and we're going to say if brand, so it's a brand undefined is not able to string uh undefined is not able to, okay, yeah, we need to pass in the brands here, and we can just set in the 0. I think it's supposed to work. active string. Okay, you can set active to string. It should have taken this. So I can just I can do it like this. Index. Okay, yeah, dot value, and this should stop. And this is so we can get the constant listing of type listing is equals to data to listings, and let's get data from here, and it's pending, and save this. So here we're going to have class name widthful pt4 pb 14, and then we're going to have div class name widthful max with 7xl max x octo space 6 div class flex item center gap for overflow x auto. Then we can map the branch the map item index. We can say button, and this way disable is pending key index class name cn, so importer from utils, and say text gray 700 transition font medium px3 border b2 border transparency over border black hover text black, and let's save that. So we are going to say item dot value is equals to active. Then we can say border black, and then text black, and then also we can say if it's pending, then we say pointer events none opacity 55. Then we can do our on click here. So on click, we're going to say set active to item or value. Save that, and here we're going to say item dot label. We're going to say that. So now load this place, this div. So after this, we can say it's pending. So if it's pending, we want to display the cars. Then we're going to show our class skeleton, car listing skeleton. This will have class name. I'm going to provide a class name here. So the class name is grade color 1, minimum 500 pixel. Grade colon 2, and large we have grade and grade colon 3, and extra large grade colon 4, graph 4, and small graph 6, px4, small px6, and then medium px0. So that's it. So I'm going to also set the layout to grid. Then we can say listing the length is equals to 0. Then we say div empty state message no car found. So I'm going to, let's save this. We're going to have a div and save this. So for the div, I'm going to copy this, and this will be the class. Paste it here, and then inside here we can say listing dot map listing. We're going to call the car card say key listing dot id, then listing. We're going to pass in listing, then layout. We're going to set this to grid. So now we can let's display a div here, and this div will have a class name of flex. This will just display a button for justify center and link href to search. Let's import the link from next link, and then the button, we're going to say button size. So let's import the button. Size large. We have class name uppercase. We have font semi bold by3, bx10, rounded large h02, and then we have view more. Let's save this, and then let's go back to the home page. So I think it's coming up, and then if we scroll down, we can see all of the so I think we need to also make this fit in because of the width. Let's give this width, minimum width 200 pixel. Let's see. So much, 100 pixel. or let's set it to auto. I think it's not going to be able to fix that. Let's check this again. So I think we can just set this to white space, no wrap, let's see. And it has taken away space is great. So this is now, why is the filter not working? Yeah, we didn't add this to key, so I'll set this active. Yeah. And let's reload this. And if I click on Mercedes, we can see that it's filter Mercedes, Tesla, Lexus, Toyota, and all. So that is it. So that is it for the home page, and you can click here to take you to the search page. So we've come to the end of this video. So make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment in the comment section.